Hello guys, what is up? It is Spooky Noodles and I am here with another video. Today we will be talking about my top 10 stories of 2020, and by stories I mean books. So before I begin the list, I want to say this does not account for short stories or short story collections. This is solely either novels, novellas, and that stuff. So, you know, chill out with me and let's talk about my top 10 favorite stories of 2020. So we're gonna start at number 10. And at number 10 we have Just Like Hell by Nate Southard. This book is about these two gay kids, high schoolers, who are kidnapped and tortured. That's all I can tell you. It's a very good book. Nate Southard really pulled out some emotions out of me, and I enjoyed it a lot. I think I gave it 5 stars. You'll notice that there's some like 4 stars above 5 stars, you know? And that's because the more I thought about that book, the more I liked it. So the star rating isn't, you know, even though I mean it at the time, sometimes they can change over time. So yeah, that's Just Like Hell by Nate Southard is number 10. Number 9 is The Old One by P.A. Douglas. Now this is my first P.A. Douglas book, and it was a good one. It was a cosmic horror book. It had this giant monster with like 10 boobs and, you know, giant arms and stuff like that. There was these monsters going around and people were getting infected and turned into zombies, and it was a great book. Even had a really dark ending, so that was really fun. So number 8 is The Resurrectionists by Michael Patrick Hicks. I did this as a buddy read with my buddy Brad Proctor, and we both enjoyed this book. I think I gave it a better rating than he did, maybe. I think I gave it either 4 or 5 stars, and he might have been the opposite of whatever I did, so he might have done a 4 or a 5. I'm not really sure. I can't remember at the moment. But yeah, this book was about Sam Holly and his trying to remember at the moment. I've read this book so long ago. It was like in the beginning of the year, or not in the beginning of the year, but like that way, you know. Sorry, I hear yelling going downstairs. But The Resurrectionist by Michael Patrick Hicks was great. It was by Sam Holly. He, you know what? I honestly don't remember this book very well. But I remember there had to do with resurrection, as the title says. So, all I remember was Sam Holly was a great character, and it had to do with the time where racism was well and alive. So, yeah. Number 7, Those Below the Treehouse by Matt Hayward. This book was really good. I don't know anything about Matt Hayward and what his scandal was of the year, you know. I don't know much about that. But I do know that this book itself, Those Below the Treehouse, was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a coming of age story about these kids trapped in a treehouse during a zombie not apocalypse, but a apocalyptic situation in their little town. So yeah, it was really good. Number 6 was Skins by Ralph James White. This one was really good. This was also kind of a coming of age story. You might see 2 more on this list of coming of age stories, but Skins was kind of a coming of age story. It's about Mac and he and these Nazi skinheads, and it's a great read. I enjoyed it a lot. Definitely probably not Ralph James White's best work. I can tell that it had a lot of issues with the actual book. I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars. I'm not sure. But it was a fun read, and it had some scenes that made me kind of cringe at times, in a good way. And yeah, so that's number 6. Alright, number 5 is Within the Woods. This is top 5 territory now. This is Within the Woods by Tony Urban. Number 5. Excellent coming of age story. In fact, I don't know how it's not above number 4, but every time I think about number 4, it makes me remember how much I enjoyed it, and I'm taking that over how much, like, over a period of time. I would probably say Within the Woods is better than the next book, but I enjoyed that next book just a little bit more. Anyways, Within the Woods is a coming of age story about these kids. There's this really cool bike scene where they're bike jousting, and I really liked it. Brought back memories of childhood, and I like that. That's why I love coming of age stories. But yeah, Within the Woods, there's this like parasite or something that crawls into you, and it changes who you are, kind of like a zombie. So it was a really good story. I liked it a lot, and yeah. So next is The Voice of the Night by Dean R. Koontz. So Voice of the Night was actually originally written by, Dean Koontz, but under the pen name, I think it was like Paul Coffey or something like that. Something Coffey. I have the original book somewhere, but I don't know where it is. But anyways, excellent book. It's about this kid who thinks his friend is always joking about killing people and stuff like that, but in the end, his friend is serious and tries to push a car in front of a train to kill people, and that's when the whole book, turns. Like, it gets very real very fast, and the descent is really fun, and I liked it a lot. So, and that might be a little bit of a spoiler, I'm sorry, but yeah, I didn't say if he does or does not do it, so there. Number 3, The Magpie Coffin by Weil E. Young. Now, The Magpie Coffin was an excellent Western horror novel or novella. I'm not sure how long it was, but I forget. The Magpie is I actually forget his name, but The Magpie Coffin was just a fantastic book, and the Magpie himself was really fun. He gave no fucks, and he was just one of those, guys that I liked reading about. But the story's about Magpie and his shaman teacher, who I'm going off memory here, who gets murdered by these colonial soldiers or whatever, or not colonial, but I forget the word, Confederate soldiers, maybe? I don't know. They get destroyed. He gets destroyed by them, and Magpie goes to exact revenge. And it's a fantastic tale. I enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, I hear there might be a sequel, but I don't know what else you can do with the story, I mean, obviously I'm not the author, I'm not in his head, so I'm just going to enjoy whatever he puts out. But yeah, The Magpie Coffin was number 3 for the best read of the year for me. So now we're going to go down to number 2, and number 2 is probably going to shock a lot of people because of how much I actually enjoyed this story. But I'm going to give it to WZMB by Andre Duza for number 2. This was another zombie tale. I know there's a few zombie stories on this one, and I rarely read zombie tales, so yeah. But WZMB is like this radio show, they're hosting during a zombie apocalypse, and it's a lot of fun. They're at like this camp where they're safe and stuff, and they report stories about what's happening in the zombie apocalypse and stuff like that. And it all comes up to a really good ending. I can't think of words at the moment, but it comes to a dramatic end, and I enjoyed it a lot. Andre Duza's writing is fantastic, and he's got to be one of my favorite authors. I got to read more by him to actually give him the official title, but he's up there as for one of my favorite authors for sure. And now we are at number 1 for my favorite book of the year, or story of the year, or whatever you want to call it. And this is by a friend of mine, actually. Not really friend. I like to consider him a friend because, I talked to him. So, But that is Diatomy by Aaron Beauregard as number 1 for my favorite read of the year. Well, not read of the year, but story of the year. Again, this is discounting collections and short stories. So, you know, just letting you know, these are just stories in general, like novels and novellas and possibly novelettes. But there's no novelettes on here. But I'm just saying, you know, if there was, there would be. Okay. But Diatomy by Aaron Beauregard's number 1. This story is exactly what I needed, and it's really fresh in my mind because I read it recently. There's a review on my channel. It's Chester's last and final review. So go check it out. Yeah. Diatomy is an amazing story about this guy called Brutus, I believe his name was. Brutus is a what do you want to call it? A mortician carrier or whatever you want to call it. He gets the bodies from the crime scene and delivers them to the mortician, where the mortician does his, you know, rationalizing of the dead or whatever you call it. I forget what it's called. Sorry, I saw something gross and I wanted to touch it. Sorry. This is a great one. It shows this guy's kind of descent into madness, and it's really fun. There's some really gross scenes in this story in Diatomy. In fact, I don't know how Aaron Beauregard does what he does. I wish I could do what he does, and that's make people get grossed out. You know, sorry, my chair's squeaking a lot. But yeah, Diatomy was fantastic. It's my favorite read of the year so far because we still have one more month, and that's December. But I'm gonna call it this year. This is gonna be I don't think anything's gonna top the top 10 list, you know, because even though I am reading a Ronald Kelly book that is really good, I just don't see anything topping this list. Because Just Like Hell at number 10 is a staple because I really enjoyed Just Like Hell, you know. But Diatomy being number 1 can't be touched. It's not going to be touched. Aaron Beauregard did an amazing job with that story. Actually, every author that is on this list did an amazing job with their stories. But Diatomy was just one that I was in a mood for splatterpunk, and I got what I wanted. And Ever since Diatomy, I've been having kind of a struggle reading stuff. Not because it's not interesting or anything like that. It's just like, I can't be grossed out more than Diatomy grossed me out right now at the moment. Unless, of course, I try to read another Aaron Beauregard book, which is quite possible, you know. I'm gonna put Aaron Beauregard as one of my favorite authors. He's up there with Ronald Kelly. Ronald Kelly's my favorite period, you know. I read Fear at the end of 2019, so that's why you don't see Fear on this list, because I'm always talking about how Fear is my favorite book of all time. But this is my list for my top 10 stories of 2020. These aren't stories that were released in 2020. These were just stories that I read in 2020. And actually, some of these stories did come out in 2020, but that's besides the point. Diatomy, number 1. That's all I have to say for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you have a spooky night. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.